So there's a couple facts about the budget I just want to make sure you understand. Number one, spending goes up. It's about almost $1 billion increase in spending in this budget. I see some faces back there, oh my God. It does, it goes up $900 million. So when you hear about this reducing costs, it doesn't reduce spending. The other part of this is, when you look at the breakdown of how we try to close this budget gap and the deficit, about 60% of that is increasing revenue. About 13% are spending reductions. Let me say it again. 13% spending reduction, 58% revenue. That's why you're hearing all of the news about all these taxes and the increases. It's because we're trying to close this budget gap with all these taxes. So obviously, we're going to have a problem. Now, if you look at the Connecticut, not where we spend our money, basically. Looking at that number, we spend about $4 billion a year on social services, about another $4 billion a year on education, and about $3.2 billion on the state employees, benefit packages, etc. That's what it's looking like right now. So obviously, if we're focusing only on state employees, and those concessions haven't even been agreed to yet, we're only missing we're missing a big part. We're only getting this much of the problem. That's going to be the problem with this budget. And politically speaking, it makes it very difficult for the politicians here because they're going to get a lot of bad press if they attack the other parts of the budget, obviously. So when we talk about a lot of these alternatives, state employees are definitely one. We need to do what we can to start privatizing those functions, find ways to make our business doing it smarter instead of just keep spending money on it. We need to find ways also to hold people more accountable. But the other part of this too is going to be, I would say, two parts. Number one, managing our expectations, because you know what? We have great social services, but the gentleman back here mentioned, how many people are on the government payroll in Connecticut? I would say at least 100,000. Because in that social services part of it, we have every nonprofit you can imagine, right? We have about 10,000 nonprofits in this state. Now, I'm not criticizing nonprofits because right now we need nonprofits more than ever. But I think what we need is we need leadership to make sure we get those people together. I know in Danbury there's an organization of nonprofits in the area that try to find ways to synergize. I'd like to see that done more across the state. I'd like to see this governor take real leadership in finding ways to take that social service budget and make sure we're spending our money wisely. Because what happens is each politician sits down and we look at these lines in the budget and we go, oh, can't cut that. Dan hates old people. I can't cut that because now Dan hates children. So when I say manage your expectations, understand when you're in your communities, there will be some things that we cut that look terrible. But maybe we're doing it in a way that we can maybe pick it up somewhere else and we can have somebody else doing the job more efficiently. So when I said we've done half the battle here today, half the battle is that you're here in front of us, which is great. The other half of the battle is what you do best. And that is when you're out in your communities and you're communicating with people, make sure they understand the issues affecting your business. Like when somebody comes up to you, it's very difficult to talk politics because you don't want to offend anybody and it's your livelihood. But if there's an issue affecting your business and you can talk about the issue, do that as much as possible.